Hey, what's up, everybody? So here we are. I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I told you guys I know how to pick fights. I don't know why. I wish I had a set of balls on me to bet real money, like bigger money than I bet. I literally bet $1 to $5 at the most on a fight. And usually if I bet $1, it's on a parlay. I'll string 3 or 4 of them together and do a little cashing out like that. And I actually did pretty good last week. So I was 4 out of 5 last week. The week before, 4 out of 5. I'm sorry, excuse me. 4 out of 5 2 weeks ago. Last week, I was 5 out of 6. Because if you remember, I picked the Prohaska fight. So that was 5 out of 6. So we're 9 out of 11. I mean, if I'm watching me right now and I work in any kind of betting facility or Vegas, I would hire me in a split second. But anyway, so if you could hear that, those are my dogs. I apologize, but that's the world we live in right now. So anyway, so with that said, I have to say, I point a few things out here about last week and last night. Last week, Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. It went exactly how I thought it would go. Masvidal is a gangster for taking that fight. He clearly, his stock has risen significantly in the UFC. His popularity, his brand, everything is growing very, very strongly and quickly. With that said, he just got handled all night. No. Let's address that. I hated the fight. I hated it. It's mixed martial arts, and you're going to get these kind of fights because it's mixed martial arts. But it's boring as hell. And I'm going to say something that I'm going to get a tremendous amount of hate for. I'm sure of it. Oh, hey, real quick, you guys. I will post it right here. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'll post it somewhere in here. I do have a Twitter and Instagram account set up for this channel now. I really do want to grow this channel, guys. So if you can help me out in any way to do that, I would really appreciate it. So I'm going to say something here that's going to be very unpopular to say, but I have to say it. Watching that fight last week was like watching a Khabib Nurmagomedov fight. You know Khabib's going to win, but it's not exciting to watch. It's just not. The counter fight was exciting. The Michael Johnson fight, boring. Edson Barboza, boring. Khabib is one of the most boring fighters to watch. And you know, I'm going to get flack for it. I get it, but you know that's okay. Because I understand the other side of it. I truly do. You can't beat Khabib. Nobody's going to beat him. He's unbeatable. He may go down as the greatest of all time. Now, I wouldn't say that. I would put GSP there first. But you can make the argument. But to me, it's boring. And I know somebody's down in the comments going to say, you know, and it's just so cliche to even say it anymore, but I'm sure somebody's going to say it at some point down the road. That if you don't like it, watch kickboxing. No, fuck you. I want to watch UFC and I want to see some banging. Okay? I want to watch some banging. I don't want to watch somebody hug somebody for 25 minutes. It just doesn't interest me. I hate those kind of fights. So anyway, it is what it is. It went the way that I expected it to go. And I'm really not trying to toot my own horn here. You guys, and if anybody, and most of the people that are watching this in somewhat real time have come from another channel, and they know that I'm really not the kind of guy to toot my own horn a whole lot. But the reality is I just have a knack for picking fights. And that fight went, the Usman Masvidal fight went exactly how I thought it would. Last night, and I don't know, am I alone on this? Have the fight nights not been more exciting than the pay-per-views? I mean, look at Jacksonville. Those fights were incredible. And then when they were in the Apex, the fight nights in the Apex, incredible fights, especially with that smaller cage. I don't care what Dana says. I don't care what kind of analytics you want to use to make your argument, but the reality is smaller cage makes better fights. End of story. The evidence is sitting right in front of you. Last night, Calvin Kattar. I'll be honest with you, by the end of that fight, I wasn't exactly 100% that was going to go in favor of Kattar. But it should have, and it did. I think that Calvin Kattar is probably going to be, we're going to be looking at a main event pay-per-view fight with a belt on the line, and the opposite side of the cage will be Calvin Kattar within a couple years. I think that there are quite a few people. Amanda Ribas, by the way, or Amanda Ribas, what a personality. Did anybody watch her interviews? Oh my God, she's a star in the making. Just an absolute doll. Very pleasant to listen to, and very exciting to watch. And boy, did she put it on Paige Van Zant last week. But yeah, Kattar took care of business last night, and I think he's going to. The problem for him is that featherweight division is so stacked. 145, 135, 145, 155. Oh my God, these absolutely murderous row on every one of those divisions. Okay, so in full disclosure, I'm not trying to make an excuse here, but I was on a mini vacation for a week, and although I did watch the fights, I wanted to get a video up there to you guys tonight because I'm not going to have time to do it tomorrow because of commitments on my other channel. So I haven't had a lot of time to prepare for this. So these are going to be 100% gut instinct picks. And there's the women's flyweight fight Saturday. I cannot even attempt to pretend that I know anything about either one of these two fighters. Alexander Petrosyan versus Askar Askanov. Askar Askanov, he has been a really nice. You can watch his progression over his past few fights, and he's an exciting fighter. Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, he's 11-0-1. I did not realize that. So, and Alexander is 22-4-0. you know, you guys, I'm sure you're aware of this, but a lot of times you'll see something like 22-4, and it's like, oh, well, that guy's got to be long in the tooth by now. No, but a lot of the times these records, like Khabib's only got like 8 fights in the UFC, if that. Might have 7 or 8 fights. So a lot of these things are kind of padded, because they come from different promotions and things of that nature. So anyway, I am going with Askar Askarov in the first fight of the main card. And real quick, I did want to point out that the preliminary card, there's one, it's a pretty deep card, by the way, as far as number of fights. But Joseph Duffy is on that prelim card. So I haven't seen him fight in a while. He's been around. He's an OG. He's been around quite a while, but he's a fun fighter to watch. He hasn't really evolved much as a fighter. You know, he hasn't changed at all, but he's fun to watch. Okay, so Ariane Lipski and Luana Carolina. Luana Carolina, I believe she's a Brazilian fighter, if I'm not mistaken. It's not telling me. But I don't know anything about either one of these. I have seen Luana Carolina fight before, but I don't remember anything about how it went. But being a Brazilian fighter, there's a good chance that she's good on the mat. BJJ fighter. But this is just going off complete 100% gut. I hate picking like this, but like I said, I want to get a video up for you guys tonight. So I'm going to go with Luana Carolina over Lipinski because, Lipski, because I used to know somebody Lipinski. She was hot too. Anyway. So that's it. That's what I'm going with on that one. Rafael, excuse me. It's always, the R's are always H's in Portuguese, I guess. Portuguese, right? Yeah. Rafael Fizlev and Mark DeCasey. Mark DeCasey, I know he's out of, I can never keep it straight whether it's England or Great Britain or whatever. But I believe he's out of London, if I'm not mistaken. London, England. And he's always got like a crazy hair color. He's a black guy. He's usually has like a red, like a faux hawk more than anything. But he's a really good fighter, and he hits really hard. And I'm going to go with Mark DeCasey on that one. Now, the next two, I have a pretty good beat on. I feel comfortable with my picks on this. Jack Hermanson versus Kelvin Gastelum. By the way, did anybody see Kelvin Gastelum in the... I don't want to offend anybody with my language here, but the Arabian wear. I don't know what you call these things. The sheet on the head, and then they put the little, I don't know, rope around it, keep it on your head, which probably is really good in that hot desert. So, okay, so Jack Hermanson is a big time fighter, and he's been around a little while, but he's still kind of on the come up. I don't think he's going to get by Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum has had a rough go here the past 2 or 3 fights. But I've been watching Kelvin Gastelum since The Ultimate Fighter, and he's a tough out, man. Kelvin Gastelum is one of the toughest outs in the UFC. If you remember, man, you know, he's fighting champions. You know, Robert Whittaker and Izzy. I mean, he's fighting gangsters, man. And even though he's come up short past couple times. Watching his body language, I did catch an interview of him from last night when he was wearing the thing. And he seems to be very, very refreshed. Like he kind of hit the reset button. So, going to go Kelvin Gastelum on that one. Joseph Benavidez and Figueiredo. I can't do the roles. Figueiredo and Benavidez. Main card. This is for the vacant belt, which for a fight night card, that's pretty good. That's pretty rare that you get a belt, a championship fight on a fight night. So that kind of adds some excitement to it. Now, this is the second fight. I remember very vividly the first time they fought. And I remember Figueiredo missing weight. It was like 2.5 pounds, I think. But he missed weight. Very unprofessional. Joseph Benavidez claims that Figueiredo headbutted him on purpose. I watched that many times, and I always come to the same conclusion, and that is not the case. If anything, Benavidez is the one that was leading with his head. And I say that, and I come to you with that because I like Benavidez, and I like him in this fight. This is a tough fight to pick. A very hard fight. This is one of the hardest fights you're going to find to pick. And here's why. The last time they fought, and the headbutt happened, Benavidez was winning the fight, clearly winning that fight. Then you have Figueiredo missing weight, and it's an unfair advantage when you miss weight. Sometimes it's because your body is just begging for you to stop cutting weight, right? And then sometimes what'll happen due to that is they'll have a hard time recovering after they weigh in. But that wasn't the case here. I think it was just poor planning, and he ran out of time to cut weight. Because when he got into the cage, he looked incredible. Figueiredo, I'm speaking of. And so I felt like he almost had an unfair advantage, and that's the risk you run when you fight somebody that misses weight. But with that said, hang on one second, guys. If you don't know, I take medication. I have to. And it just really dries my mouth out, so I have to drink sometimes. So Benavidez, after that headbutt, first of all, when he dropped back, okay, and the blood was going into his eye, and you could tell that it was on his mind at that time, and he kind of looked. It was a really weird sequence, okay? I remember he kind of looked away or looked up or something like that. And I think he thought for some reason, and shame on him for thinking this, if that is the case, but I think for some reason he thought maybe the ref was going to do something, even though the ref was over there, or something, because he just kind of stopped. It was the wildest thing I'd ever seen. Now, the cut from the headbutt was, if I remember correctly, it wasn't even in the hairline. It was like right between his hairline and his eyebrows. So I'm not sure what he was thinking, but as he did that, Figueiredo come in with I think it was a right, and just clocked him. I mean, he just laid it on him. And Benavidez went down like a bag of sand. That was the end of the fight. I think Figueiredo got on top of him, threw a couple more on him, but I think they were unnecessary, really. Because I think the referee was coming in already. My brain too, I guess, but my memory is a little fuzzy on it, but it was something to that effect. And With that said, before all that happened, Benavidez was piecing him up. And I felt very comfortable in the fact that Benavidez was going to win that fight upon watching that first round. Obviously, it's the UFC, anything can happen. And something did happen, and that was the headbutt, and it, for some reason, got inside the head of Benavidez, and he made a huge mistake. Those are the kind of mistakes that you never repeat. I picked Joseph Benavidez to win. So there you have it. Recap. We got Benavidez, Gastelum, DeCasey, Carolina, and Askarov. Those are my 5 picks. We'll see how we do. See you next week.